Over the last 3 weeks, I've been talking about what leaders carry into the room. And today I want to show you what changes when a leader actually starts seeing that clearly. Let me tell you about Anthony. Now, Anthony came to me, he was under siege. He had two people in his team who had told him directly that he triggered them, that something about the way he showed up created anxiety and fear in them. They made him sound as if he's some kind of a bully, but he didn't even realize what he was doing. Now put yourself in that position. How do you even respond to that? What do you do with it? Well, Anthony didn't know, so he did what most capable people do when they don't know what to do. He got defensive. He managed around them. He kept his distance and hoped that it would resolve itself. It didn't, of course. The situation was heading towards a formal HR process. And anyone who's been through one of those, you know that there are rarely any winners. Bad feelings all around, damage that takes years to repair, if it repairs at all. And then Anthony joined the conflict-free leadership program. And the first thing we worked on wasn't what to say to those two people. It was how to understand what was happening inside of him when they spoke to him. Because here's what Anthony hadn't been able to see. He couldn't see his defensiveness. It was completely understandable, completely human, but the defensiveness was actually feeding the dynamic. The more defensive he got, the more anxious they became. And the more anxious they became, the more he felt attacked. And round it went. And once he could see his part in that system, not as blame, but as information, something shifted. He developed a way of hearing those two people that gave him breathing room. He stopped absorbing their anxiety as if it were a personal attack. He could stay present in those conversations without needing to defend himself. And the result, well, the HR process never happened. But here's what I really want you to hear, because this is even more interesting, because that itself wasn't the most important thing that changed. Within a few weeks of the program, Anthony started going out into the organization differently, talking to people in the front line, listening to them as experts in what they do every day, and letting their ideas in. He had a completely different approach. And he told me that he felt a lot freer, like something he'd been carrying for a long time had been put down. And that's what this work does. It doesn't just fix the difficult situation, it changes how you relate to everyone. Now, I want to speak to something directly here, because I know that there's a voice that may be in you that's been quietly saying something throughout these 4 weeks. And it sounds like this. I've been in management for years. I should be able to handle this by now. If I haven't worked it out yet, maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Well, I want to say something about that voice. It's understandable, first of all. It makes complete sense that you'd feel that way. And it's exactly that thought and that voice that keeps people stuck for the longest. The fact that you haven't found a way through this yet, after years of trying, doesn't mean that the way through doesn't exist. It also doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It just means nobody's ever shown you where to look. And that's not a character flaw, that's a gap in your learning. And gaps in learning can be filled. The conflict-free leadership program exists for one reason, to help you transform the way that you relate to people that you find most difficult. So your energy stops going into conflict and tension and starts going into the work. You're not managing around people. You're not bracing for certain conversations. You're not replaying meetings on the way home. Your energy goes into the work, into relationships that matter, into the leader that you already know that you're capable of being. Anthony is a few weeks in. He described it as transformational, not because the program is magic, although it is pretty good, but because he finally had a place to see clearly what was happening and a way of doing something about it. So here's my invitation to you. Have a conversation with me. It's not a sales pitch. There's no obligation. It's just a genuine conversation about what's draining your energy right now, what's making certain relationships harder than they should be, and whether there's a way through that you haven't seen yet. Whatever comes out of that conversation, you'll benefit. I mean, Even if the program turns out to be not the right fit, or the timing isn't right, or you decide that there's a better path for you to take, you'll leave with more clarity than when you arrived. And that's my commitment to this conversation. If that sounds useful, the link to book a time with me is below. I genuinely love to talk. I'm John Fazandia, and thanks for watching.